Creating your first workbook. Very straightforward, very simple. Then you'll create your first worksheet, then your first table, and then your pivot table, and your first charts. We're going to take this one step at a time. I'm going to explain a very straightforward and simple approach for beginners on how to incorporate what I just mentioned. Ready? Let's go. Brad Williams, Excel Prime. The quick and easiest way to creating your first Excel workbook. We're going to create a workbook. It's simple, straightforward. Let's get started. Two different ways to start or begin or creating your first workbook. We can go to File, New. Here is an overwhelming sheet of Excel stuff. When I say stuff, it's because Excel is always trying to throw stuff at you, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed by this. Here's a blank workbook. Here's just a simple starting point. Just double click this. And here's your first workbook. Book 5, only because I've opened up a number of workbooks. I haven't closed Excel. So Excel will keep count of however many workbooks I've opened up since the last time I've opened Excel. This is it. This is your workbook. It's book 5. Here's sheet 1, your first worksheet. Here's the layout. Here's the ribbon. Here is where you're going to do your magic. Now, what I want you to do is just put M. Just type M and then enter. Why? Because what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this workbook. By entering an M, we've activated the workbook. Now there's something that can be saved. We don't want to save. We just want to delete this workbook. Why? Because we're going to open up another workbook in a second. Go up to the right-hand corner of this workbook. You see the X there. It says close. You can hit close. It's going to say save your changes. No. Why? Because we don't want to save these changes. Don't save. You see here, we have Control M. All that is a shortcut for opening up a new workbook. I want you to hit Control M. Now notice it says Book 6. If you save this workbook, if you just hit save, it's going to be Book 6. Where? Well, it's going to be wherever this file is saved to. It's going to probably be in your Documents folder or in some folder. However you set this up, it could be anywhere. Just keep that in mind. So before you save anything, this is a topic on its own that we're going to discuss later. Just keep in mind Book 6, File, and then if you save as, you want to be able to put this in a particular location. It could be this PC, it could be OneDrive. Anyway, that's way off topic. What I want you to do is just go to E1. I'm going to go back to the original workbook that I just showed. I'm going to guide you through this simple design here. You're going to build this data range. This is just a range. I'm going to show you how to build this thing. This is how it's going to look. Let's get started and I'll show you how to do this. I'm going to move this table. I'm just going to go to a range. Don't follow my ranges because I want you to start here. All I want you to do is type in name in E2, then Jan. Then I want you to just type in 6 names. Doesn't matter what the names are. And I want you to type in 6 numbers in increments of 1,000, and they can be any number you want. I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to grab this information and I'm going to copy, paste it. And I'm going to paste special so it looks blank and nothing and unformatted. Then I'm just going to type in Jan. Then what I want you to do, you've typed in Jan, right? See this green arrow? You see where it says AutoFill feature? This can be handy or not. What it does, if you activate this, Excel is going to do its best to guess what you're trying to do. If your attempt is to fill this across, and let's say you wanted it January, February, all 12 months, you could just grab this green box, carry it across. So we want January, February, March. Well, this is an easy example, but you can see it just filled in automatically. Now, if you're a quick typist, you know you can do that quicker. Whatever numbers you typed, the first number I wanted 3096. It doesn't matter, but 3096. I'm going to type that in here. I'm going to grab the rest of these numbers and I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste special them. Why paste special? Because I don't want any of the formatting. I don't want any of the borders. I don't want anything. I just wanted this information. If you have different numbers, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about the color. Don't worry about whether it's centered. Don't worry about borders. We'll get to that. What I want you to do is just get used to entering information. I just want you to put in 3096. And what happens when you hit 3096? This is one of the crap features of Excel. It's their dynamic process where it thinks that it has an IQ of 400. What it does, it just does stuff prematurely, and it just sometimes going to frustrate the you-know-what out of you. I don't want Excel to do anything for me. All I want is 3096 and then to move down to the next cell. If you don't want Excel to build the next cell, use your tab key, and it'll go to the right. If not, use your arrow key on the keypad. If you hit 3096, Excel will automatically, and you hit enter, it's automatically going to drop down. Now you can change this. I'll show you how later. If you want it to automatically fill across instead of down, we can format that. But for now, all I want you to do is 3096. You can also go 3,096 if you want. You could also hit $3096. And if you want to put this in decimals, you could put 0.0396 and hit decimal or percent. Well, we're not trying to do that. I'm just trying to let you know what's going on here. Now, let me point out something critical. I'm going to enter a number and then I'm going to hit text. This is just random stuff. Here's 4, 5, 6, 7. Notice where the alignment, hit Bob. Just hit Bob. Notice, this is important. Remember this, text lines up to the left. Numbers always align to the right. Keep that in mind. As we move further, you're going to see how there can be conflicts and how perhaps a number is not a number. What do I mean by that? If I go 1, 2, 3, 4, I go up here and I put it in text format. Why? See this option? We'll get into this. This 4, 5, 6 is no longer a number, it's text. And that can be conflicting at times. So keep in mind, if you have a number that's aligned left, that's not adjusted by the alignment configuration up here, and you're trying to add 4, 5, 6 to 12 equals this plus this, you're going to get an error. Nope, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's not supposed to happen. Why? Because text is a text. And Excel sometimes will add this information when that's not your intent. Back to our configuration here. Let's go 3096, and you have your numbers. I have my numbers. Control copy, paste special, figure, blank, blank. What I want you to do is hit an equal sign. Why? Because when you enter an equal sign, you're telling Excel, I'm entering a formula or a function. We're doing what with it? We're going to increase this number by 3.5%. Why? You're the forecast guy for the company now, or guy or gal. And you think sales are going to increase 3.5% in February and then 3.5% again in March. How do we configure this? Well, we take 3096. We just point to 3096. You notice now it's pointing to F13. If you hit F13 now, it's going to say 3096. You have 3096 here without the equal sign, but you also have 3096 now, which is part of a formula. If you try to do this, okay, you see 2646. If I go 2464 times 5, well, guess what? That now is the text. If we put an equal sign in front of it, now it multiplies. Equal sign is the determining point or determining factor when it comes to computations. You always have to enter an equal sign. Now we have 3096, but that's just 3096. We want this to increase by 3.5%. To do that, we hit Shift key and the asterisk, which is the number 8. But the asterisk is just above. Just to get into good practice, put a parenthesis. That's 9. Hit number 9. You can see the parentheses. 1.035. You have 32.04. Why is this increased by 3.5% or equals this minus this by $108? If you take 3096 and multiply that times 0.035, that's 3.5%. That's 108.36. We just add the 1 because that's the 3096 times 0.035. 1.035, that means F13 times 3.5%. What we can do, we can use this fill feature. We can grab this green box and just fill right. And what did it do? Now it's saying G3, increase it by 3.5%. We could grab this green box again and fill down. And voila. Pretty neat, huh? We can also use Control Z. We can also highlight this box. Use your Shift key. This range is now active, and we can hit Control D or Control down. We just did the same thing. And then we can hit the Control key and hit Control right or Control R. We just did the exact same thing. Now, in terms of making this thing look similar to example above, we have some options. We can center the address, put borders, and we can put $signs. How do we do this? Highlight this information, the name, January, February, March. We can right click, and guess what we have here? We have the mini toolbar. We can hit Format Cells. We could say Align, and we could hit Center, and we hit OK. Well, what happened? I moved this range, and you can't do that. You have to, if you're gonna use the mini toolbar, make sure you're within the range, right click within the range, hit Format Cells. You have a bunch of different options here. Remember, you can use the tab key to move around. You can use the mouse. We can hit center and hit OK. We just centered this. Otherwise, Control Z. Remember Control Z. What do we do here? We undo what we just did. Can we center this using stuff up in the ribbon? Yeah. Go to Home. Notice all the different tools. If you saw what I did here using the mini toolbar, I went to Alignment. Go to Home, Alignment. If you look at the different commands here, or different tools, we have these indentations here. If you use Word or any of the other word processing applications, there are indications as to paragraphs and alignments and what have you. Well, you have the same thing here in Excel. You can see you can align right, center, and left. Well, we'll just hit center. We're good to go. Now, what about color? We can right click. Since this area is highlighted, we can right click. We can go to, you see here we have color. With Excel, you have a fill color and a font color. What does that mean? Why don't they say background and foreground? This color will fill the background. This other color will fill just the letters. For example, if I want this, just the letters colored, that's the foreground. To reverse that, we can go back here. If we want the background filled, go to green, and there you go. Borders, a couple different ways. And again, there are a lot of shortcuts. We could do the same thing by using the Alt key. I'm going to hit Control Z. I know I'm going fast. We'll cover all of this later in detail, but I just want to introduce you to the tools available in Excel. Remember Alt on the keyboard, Alt. You see up here, we have all the different options. We have H, we have colors. Now, I don't recommend you doing this with colors because it probably can get overwhelming, but we can hit H, and then we have, then you can pick whatever color you want. See how quick that was? If you do this 1,000 times a day, you can see how quick the Alt key can make your life easier. Border, we can set a border. We can just highlight this. We can go up to ribbon key. We're at home. We have fonts, and here's border. This is all borders, but you can click this button. You have all these different options. We'll cover these in detail, but we want all borders. Just hit all borders. You can do this with the Alt key. You can hit Control Z. We can go Alt, Home, H. We can hit B for border, and we can hit A for all borders. A, see this A here? See where the letter, these are hotkeys. If I hit A, it'll hit all borders. If I hit S, it'll hit outside borders. If I hit T, those are hotkeys. We'll hit A, and we have all borders. If we want to do this through the mini toolbar, there's another shortcut. You can hit Control 1, and we have the same dialog box, and we have borders. You can configure this on a cell-by-cell basis, or you can just you can align this thing up here. You see where it says outline, etc., etc. You can play around with this. A lot of different options. In terms of the numbers, we can go up here. We can change this number. We can just put these numbers here. You see how messy it gets now. We have all the decimals, and we can remove the decimals by, see we have an increase and decrease in decimal. We can decrease decimal. We can remove that $sign by just hitting the decimal. We can get rid of the decimals. I mean, we hit the comma. I'm sorry. We have other options here. You can see we have a number, we have a currency, we have accounting, we have dates, we have time, percentage, fractions. These are all the tools that you're going to learn. I'm going to discuss each one of these in detail. So don't worry about it right now. I'm just trying to introduce you to the different options available. We just want currency, and there's currency. If you don't want the decimals, just hit, that's it. That's just a quick introduction to building a workbook. Now, you just entered text. You've entered color. You've entered some formatting and some borders. A couple things to be aware of. When you're entering data, and this is a point of frustration, and you're going to deal with it, and I've dealt with it for so long that griping about it, I'm not going to be able to get Excel or Microsoft to change. But dates and time are a point of frustration. Just nothing you can do about it other than swear a little bit. Be sure to check out all of our Excel courses. Excel data and text manipulation. We have an advanced beginners and intermediate course. Excel essentials. This is for individuals new to Excel. We have an advanced, excellent beginners, level 1 and level 2, and intermediate level course. Excel formulas, formulas only. We have a beginner, an advanced, and an intermediate level course. Click on any of the links. There's a short video that explains everything about the course. Check it out. Let me demonstrate. You're in a hurry. You put 4-45 and you meant $4.45. What's Excel going to do? It's going to interpret this as a date. And that date is stuck in there like, I don't know. It's just stuck. It's a date format now. So now you go, well, I'm going to change that to 450. Well, guess what? Now it says January 000. And you're going, what the? Go to formula bar. This is how it's read. And you're thinking, what? Well, yeah, it's a problem. You hit Control Z, and now see how it said 4/1/1945? Well, that $4.45 was 4-45 is read as April 1st, 1945. Hit Control Z, let's hit $4.45. You're okay. Now, the only way we were able to clear that out is we hit, what do? Control Z. We cleared out to the beginning. Otherwise, if you hit 4-45 and then you go $5.55, you could see you're caught in Excel hell. What if you go up here and go, well, I want this to go back to general? You can reconfigure it that way. But unless you know how to configure this, you're going to go crazy. If you want it to be an actual date, remember how we started here? Well, now it's a date. Let's go back to the general. I don't want to get into this. Dates and time are in a session all alone. How about if you hit 4/55, meaning your intent was $4.55. Excel look at it as 4/1/1955. Just be cautious when you're entering information. Sometimes you're going to run into these problems. What do we do? Control Z. What happens if you save this and it still shows as a date? Go up, home, number, and reformat it. Even if you hit 4/55 and you delete it, equal how about 4/55, and then you delete it, you come back the next day thinking, all right, if I just shut down Excel, that nightmare is going to go away. So you hit 4/55 and the date's still there. Go up to the top, number, and it says custom. If you see custom, that means it's not in a general or number format. But you can hit currency to reformat it, or accounting. It is a problem. Now you know how to work around it. Let's make a chart. Very simple. I'm going to show you. It takes about 30 seconds. Make sure we're in Trinet. We hit insert, recommended chart. Okay, there's your chart. That's it. Let me point out one thing here. To get rid of this, you can hit Control Z, and it's gone. Go up to name. We hit insert, recommended chart. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. If you're not in the chart and you say insert, recommended chart, you create a chart, select the cells that contain the data you'd like to use. Well, we don't have any cells, so how do we create a chart without any data? So make sure you're within this range. What happens is Excel will guesstimate. In other words, it will, if you say insert chart, it's going to use its engine, its Excel engine, and it's going to guess where this chart is based on this range. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. That's a subject on its own in the future, but there's a chart. And how is it read? Well, here are your people. Here are the names. Here are their sales for January, February, and March. Remember in the previous session, I said there's going to be, when you add stuff to Excel, for example, charts. Remember in the previous tutorial, there was a picture? Well, here's a chart. Well, you remember we're at Fred, there was a picture format. Here with charts, we have a chart design and a format feature. This is about a 30-minute tutorial, and we'll get into that in a bit. But this is just another one of those tabs that is included on specific information. Brad Williams, Excel Prime.